Hello there, this is Big Benedict. We're playing Dead Space on Impossible difficulty, and this is my plasma cutter only run for the aforementioned title. Playing on the hardest difficulty, and I have put the subtitles on here because this is my favorite chapter in the game. It's Chapter 7, entitled Into the Void. So, there is a much needed stasis pack. This chapter here gave me a lot of problems when I first played this game. So many problems that I would have to go back several chapters just to prepare for this chapter because there are so many encounters and so many not only just standard encounters but so many encounters that have dense throbs of foes to dispatch. So there is no store quite yet, but there are plenty of things to pick up, and there's a bench, a save point, some lockers, just a lot of stuff to pick up. Now, we're going to have to go to the mining area eventually. Oh, that's the store? I didn't even see that fucking store. I didn't even see that when I was playing it. Wow. Okay, so that we were on level A. You now need to go to level B. Level C is inaccessible until the end. Level D is where you go after level B. So, here is a situation where they're having these guys jump out of the fence on the side of the elevator shaft. There's two of these foes, I believe, to take care of. A couple of slashers. I honestly didn't even see that store. I must not have been looking for it. This whole chapter I was using the store on level B. But it's okay, I suppose. But there's one area in particular that probably will give players a lot of trouble, just because it's a lot to do, no checkpoint, and the only thing you can really do is just make your own save point, and I'll tell you how to do that if you want to. I did it just because I was getting a lot of stuff. I didn't want to waste too much time. So we have one pregnant here, and we have some slashers. Just make sure that there's no enemies coming to your right, and I don't think they come to your right at this point. So just watch out that you don't shoot the pregnant's belly, because then all of the dividers will come out and you'll have to avoid them and or kill them. If all of them jump on you on this difficulty, you can't survive. Maybe if you had the tank suit and all of your HP. I have one HP upgrade that I've purchased with the nodes, but I still have like four or five that I don't have access to because I don't have enough power nodes. So there was a point, there will come a point when I don't have enough ammo, so I'm going to have to do some melees, but fortunately it's only against one enemy that I'm going to flee from. But that's one of the things, a new player is going to stumble on one of those issues quite a lot, where you don't have ammo, you don't have enough health packs, you don't have any stasis. So what do? You have to make the best you can, really, and go back. If you go back a couple of chapters, but I'm overriding all my data, so I can't go back anywhere, and it's a conscious choice by me. In here there's going to be one enemy to kill, another store, a nearby save point, and then we're going to go to the main area. So pick up everything here. I did a lot of buying and selling. And over here, I didn't point it out, did I? But there's a crack in the wall if you go down that hallway, and you can pick up with stasis some of the items in there. It's actually a power node door that you're gonna need the power node. I don't think you can grab the semiconductor through the cracks in the wall. I've tried, believe me, I've tried, because if you could do that, it would negate having to even use the power node. But there's quite a lot of stuff in there. Now, this is a really disorienting part. You've got a couple of these leapers here. I think 3 leapers, and whenever they're here, and or the lurkers, as I've mentioned, it's you can contain them as much as you can, but I always get snuck up on and hit. And I know they're coming. I know full well that they're coming. I know another one's going to be right behind me. But it's one of those things where my whole attention is concentrated on stasising the ones that I need to render immobile, while I can deal with the one that I know is coming. So what you need to do here is throw these craters into the, I guess it's some kind of a waste disposal mechanism there to get rid of the contaminants in this room, and only then will the gravity seal be lifted. So that first set of leapers, they will come. What I was going to say is their spawn, it doesn't depend on you throwing a certain number of the craters inside the mechanism. They'll spawn when you get when you enter this room, and then you search it a little bit, then they'll come. And then these guys will come after you throw 1 or 2, possibly 3 of the craters inside the mechanism. And then that will be all the enemies until you press the switch to restore gravity. But before you do that, you can go into the power node door. You can collect everything that's over here in the boxes, and you can even go back and save it, which I'm going to do. Now I believe this is the last guy here. It's just it's hard when there's so much open space here, and these guys they're fast and they throw missiles. It's just a difficult thing to deal with. So personally, I have so many med packs that I've been actually over accumulating them. I haven't bought any. I've just been accumulating them, and I haven't been buying enough stasis packs. So that's what I'm gonna have to focus on buying, because I've been buying too many power nodes, and I just don't have any stasis. When we get into the chapter with the fast runners, you're definitely gonna need some stasis there. So just a word of preparation about that. So we still have some contaminants in this room. So it's just difficult because you have to do everything that I'm going to be showing you without a checkpoint. But as I mentioned, you can go back and save it. This room doesn't seal off or anything like that. And I think that's pretty much why the load times are so drastic on the PC. On the consoles. They're a split second on the PC, but anyway, so this should be one of the last ones here.
All free floating anomalies destroyed. Gravity can now be restored.
So this door here, I believe this door is the one we need to go into eventually.
Thank you.
And then, see, I'm just trying to get my bearings straight here and try to figure out where I'm located.
Thank you.
I can't tell you how much I love flying like that and moving the camera. It's the epitome of fun. I mean, when this game came out, they were actually making games. And I can't say that about the gaming industry at this point. Nobody's making games. Sure, they're making shit games, but they're not making a game like this. Where is a game like this? Where is it? Doesn't exist. Maybe with Quantum Break, well, I should say definitely we'll get something of good quality. But I was just watching my Dead Space 3 guide, and that game is... I'm sorry to anybody who likes that game, but that game is fucking trash compared to these two games. Anyway, so you can save your progress right here. You'll notice that in edit. Now, the rookie mistake here is shooting the exploder while he's anywhere next to the pregnant, because if you do that, then the explosion is going to send all the dividers out of the pregnant's belly. It'll kill the pregnant, or near about kill him. But do you see how they're cutting you off here? So you got to freeze all the enemies ahead of you, freeze these guys, and since the gravity's cut off, you can't fly anywhere for safety. You can try to go in the power node door if you want to, but they'll just come through the vents there. So what you have to do is just kill this guy, but don't ever take out the pregnant anywhere near that pregnant. What am I talking about? I'm sorry. Don't make sure that exploder, that the bomb that he has, just doesn't go off by the pregnant, because then you have a bunch of dividers that you have to kill, and that can kill you if they all jump on you. So the cruelty about this section is, see, they put an exploder behind you too, but it's highly manageable, and stasis is your best ally over here. So I believe I've killed all the people that come behind me. So what they do is they put the one exploder behind you and several of the slashers, and then all you can do now to save yourself is just back off. And there's plenty of room here. That's the nice thing. There's ample room. So now I need to take this pregnant out, but what I'm going to do is just let this guy creep up a little bit. I'm going to take that out, and then we'll finish off the pregnant. But that is a hard room. Like that it only took me like 2 tries because I'm so familiar with this. But back when I was first playing this, I couldn't do it. I had to go. Like, I wouldn't even have the resources. I wouldn't have enough bullets. Like the whole problem with this level for me always was not having enough bullets to do everything. And that whole problem reared its head because when I go back to the elevator to go to level D, I only have 1 bullet. So I have 20 med kits, but that's not gonna help me take an enemy out. Seriously. Hold on, somebody's texting me. My brother's texting me. I try to have, family's always first on here.
You can launch the asteroid.
But sometimes, like when I sit down and I want to commit to doing a video, the priority for me is the video. I mean, obviously, if my family member is bleeding to death, who cares about a shitty video like this? But, if they're just trying to talk to me about something that can wait, they put a jump scare in over here where the lights go out, the power goes out. You think there's going to be enemies, but don't worry about it. And back in the day, I was watching Wiki Game Guide's video guide for this, and they do a terrific job together when they were actually together, John and Dan. It was such stellar commentary, and even though it wasn't on topic a lot, it was such a pleasure to watch their videos. And for some reason, let's see, it's only John doing the Wiki Game Guide stuff now. And to be honest, I can't even suffer to watch their channel anymore. It's all Destiny. It's all new games. I'm just a gamer, and the problem about the new titles that are coming out is that they're all basically shit. And then occasionally there's a diamond in the rough. There's actually something good. But that's why I'm staying away from the consoles right now, because the offerings, I'm really disappointed in the PlayStation 4. Not only do I hate the controller, but where are the offering? Where are the games? It's a game console, so where are the fucking games? Bastards. Bunch of ball-washing bastards is what they are. And I don't mean to be so mean, but I gave you $400 for a console that's supposed to have video games on it. And now I have Steam, and I'm having a great time playing games on the PC. And I don't mean to be so cutthroat about it and such a dickhead, but like, these games, they're just not going to cut it with me. Because all I basically want is, I don't want any first-person games. So obviously, it's like 1 out of 3 games, or 1 out of 4, maybe 1 out of 5 games these days is third-person. So all I basically want is, I want a third-person game, and I want it to be good. That's all I want. So let's take an example of the Evil Within compared to this. The Evil Within on a Kumu difficulty, the rail section, like this one, that's an example of something that is far too challenging in a bad way, because they don't give you any resources. They basically tell you that since you're on this difficulty, you're not getting any resources. You got them on the other difficulties, but fuck you now. We're not going to give you any bullets. And I really feel for the people that have trouble on that, because I remember that took me at least an hour, that goddamn part. But you see, they can make a hard part like this, have it be semi-innocuous, and it's still challenging because these things shoot missiles at you, but there's not too many of them because they know that you're pretty much defenseless in this thing. And I've ridden on this thing, whether it was back or forth, possibly both trips, and not had any ammunition back when I didn't realize how difficult this game was, because I had never played it before.
Isaac? Is that really you? It feels like it's been so long. But I can help you now. Come with me.
And here's another great example of how something in a game is done well that normally I'm opposed against. Anytime I have to protect anybody in a game, then it's a hated situation for me, because it's not really about skill at that point, because a lot of times on these harder difficulties, they don't care how quickly the person being escorted can perish. In this situation, I think she could take a beating before she dies. And I just feel that this part could have been a lot. They could have screwed the player even more than they even tried to do here, because it's still an honorable sequence. You've got several slashes over here, but they're paced well, and if you know when they're going to come, there's nothing random here. They come at the same at the same. They're dispersed at the same. I'm sorry, I just woke up, so I'm trying to do this commentary, trying to get it underway. So you've got this slasher that jumps up here, and then you've got, I mean, if you're fast enough here, this she'll never get hit. And then there's also going to be one lurker on the wall. But as you can see, she took a hit. She could take several hits, but there's not an overwhelming number of enemies here to take care of. And there's nothing cheap about this part. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard. But if you've upgraded your stasis, like you could look at all, I know that there's a guy to my right. I know that. But I know that the stasis has a long duration, so I could keep him immobile for quite a long time before I even have to deal with him again. And if I want to, I could just throw more stasis at him. So now she's in the yellow, but guess what? There's no more enemies left. And this is on the hardest difficulty. I also have no respect for hardcore difficulty in Dead Space 2 and 3, because it's cheap. And we're talking about a 15 to 20 hour campaign near about, or 12 hours, or however many hours it is. You don't put something like that in a long campaign like this.
Hey, I lost your signal.
You can have done it on the older games,
I see you've got the beacon, so head for the mining bay and
but it's ridiculous. If I cover Dead Space 2 again, I'll play on Zealot, but I'm not going to play on hardcore. There's nothing rewarding about it. Sure, you might feel a sense of satisfaction at the end, but it's more of just a relief that it's over. And I don't care about achievements, and I don't care about, doing something just because it's an achievement. So the ride back is actually a little bit more difficult, because this time there are lurkers, where before there were just those pods and the stems that come up and shoot missiles. One shot usually will take care of them. I I don't think 2 shots is ever required for those unless perhaps you have a level 1. You haven't even upgraded the weapon at all. So just kind of be cautioned that when you come back, you're going to have to deal with a lot of enemies. And we don't have any bullets. I mean, I hope you do. But it's one of those things where if you have a lot of bullets, you usually don't have many med packs and vice versa. I'm in one of those situations where I have, at the safe, I have it at the store, in the safe, I have 20 med kits that I might just sell because I need stasis packs more than those. I really haven't got hit too many times in this game. It's not really a game where that's incredibly important. I mean, if you're getting hit normally, you don't really want to continue very much. At least I don't want to. Because it just takes a hell of a lot of your damage off. So, as you can see right there, I only have 1 bullet for that guy. Where I have to leave him down there permanently because I can't deal with him.
You have to knock those out before you can launch it.
So now where you need to go is level D. No, excuse me, no, where are we? Yes. No, this is level C, excuse me. So you start at level A, you go to B, then D, then C. You need to know how to do that. You basically just go in alphabetical order. Now these here, what you want to do is just freeze everybody as best as you can. Stick back here by the wall, shoot these guys, freeze the guys to the right, and then you've got to be quick in this game. But the thing is, Isaac is very slow. Even now that I've taken the VSync off and I can swivel the camera faster, it still doesn't speed up his aiming. So, and even his trot that he does when he runs around, I've never seen somebody run so slow. And that's the fastest he runs, and it's indicative on how much HP you have. But I think he only starts to go slow when the colors change on his back. So whenever, at least when you have turquoise on, he's going to run as fast as he can. But when he's in yellow and red, well, when he's in red, you're fucked. Now, one of those crates has the dividers in it, but there's only 4 of them, I think. And I usually risk it. I fucking hate those enemies. God, I hate those enemies. Now, the thing about this is that the enemy over here will only spawn if you access the bench, because I'm just going to access the bench, exit out of it, and then this guy's going to jump down every time. They also do a jump scare when you move the battery out of there. It'll have a noise as though an enemy's coming out of a vent, but it's just a vent bursting. Listen right here if you can hear it. So it's another jump scare right there that they do. But the nice thing about these games is that they're all perfectly, you can memorize them. It's nice. I think that's the only thing that the hardcore difficulties have that even remotely redeems them, is that the game is completely memorizable. And I know that's probably not a word, but there's 3 exploders in here. Just watch out for that. If you die, there is no checkpoint. You'll start back at the elevator lift. You'll have to do this all over again, but you can't save it if you want to. I just didn't feel the need to. I'm going to save it after this. So your visibility's down here. All we need to do is take this battery, plug it in over here, and go up the lift, and we'll continue on with this journey onto this great level. Okay, we're going to continue down this path here, and let me put my keyboard down. If I'm ever too harsh on games, you guys just have to realize that that's who I am, that's how I voice my opinions, and if I say anything over the top, you know, just let me know. But usually it's just because I have high standards and I'm hard to please about video games. And I'm just a gamer. I just want good stuff. That's all I really want. So over here I decided that the penance I did 2 chapters back wasn't adequate enough, because the things that I discarded, those gold semiconductors and some of the things that I neglected to pick up on purpose, they just weren't enough. So what I'm going to do here, as a final act of contrition, I'm gonna drop 2 of these because these are worth 10,000 to purchase, 5,000 to sell. So that's how the things work at the store. You get half the value of them, and that's pretty good. This part here is pretty problematic, but what getting back to the whole penance, you know, the penitent, only the penitent will pass. I think that's what they said in Indiana Jones Part 3. But what I discarded, I don't think it was equal to what I was receiving via the cheat codes. So I just wanted to put myself on a level playing field, not have any advantages, and I think that what I discarded is actually more than what I would have had to spend on those stasis packs that in theory I would have had to purchase. So in this room here you can latch onto this, but oh, it's so easy to get killed by this thing. So you just want to go to the very top of it, and then you won't get killed by those things. And then you'll come up here, and they must give you some kind of air somewhere over here, but I couldn't find it. So make sure you have an air can over here, because you'd be hard pressed to do this without getting more oxygen. And of course it will be dictated by how much your suit is guarded against the extreme conditions of having no oxygen. But mine currently has just the default amount because I don't value it too much. There aren't many parts in this game where it's like this, and even so, I just find it hard to imagine that they don't have any oxygen up here. So all you need to do is hit these magnetic wheels one time after you've stasised them. There's 4 of them, and I come up here first because it's so easy to get killed when you're coming up here. So there's the second one. Go back on this, and as you can see, I'm almost dead, and that's why I had to actually go back to the store. But that will be the end of the penance. I would not recommend putting this thing down until you kill those lurkers, because look, see all these animations? You're completely locked out of doing anything. So just come on back here, be very careful, just don't touch these things, and just never go in the path of the, like, you see that blue light up there, never go in that path. You'll get instantly killed. It goes for any kind of environmental hazard. So once this is done, we're gonna head back the way we came. Okay, any more leapers? No more leapers. Okay. You don't have to interact with this panel. There's nothing to interact with, actually, so we're just going to be going back. I have an NVIDIA video card now. It's a GTX 760, and I was experimenting with using Shadowplay, which records your game footage, and it just didn't look as good as Fraps. And a lot of people I know, they hate Fraps because the files are, you lose a few frames, I understand, and the files are uncompressed. But to me, that's not a big deal because I have more than enough space. I don't, oh, this motherfucker. Oh, man. God, I hate shit like that. It makes me look bad, but, you know, I'd rather that happen once in a while than look, you know, perfect, not knowing everything. But I was using Shadowplay, and it's really no different than Fraps, except I think because of the files that they're compressed to save space, it's actually, they're harder to scroll through in my in Sony Vegas for some weird reason. So it would mean a little bit more work for me. So I'm happy with Fraps. $25 for the lifetime of it, and it works really well. So basically what Shadow Play was is just capturing directly from the GPU or the graphics card. So, and it didn't look as good as Fraps, so we'll just keep using Fraps. There's nothing wrong with it. So we're going to come on down over here, put the battery back where it was to begin with, and then we're going to pick up something that we missed over here. So if you're going through this game, definitely do not trade in the schematics for like the pulse rounds or anything like why do they put dividers here? It's so fucking stupid. Just what I would do is actually I would do some research, maybe go online and find out which weapons give you the most for the bullets you find. I believe it's the contact beams, but the line racks are pretty good too. So this is the rapid transition. This vent here, what I was facing, if you want to rewind that, there was an edit, and it's just from where I was facing, it's to the right, and then he comes right out of there, and then I'm going to back into the wall and just freeze these guys and make sure that your attention is split over here, because you want to deal with those guys and you also want to deal with these guys. These guys, anytime they're black and they look even more infected and even more horrifying, they're harder as far as they have more HP. It's going to take more bullets to put them down. I actually ran out of bullets over here too, so this is definitely one of the most resource heavy chapters as far as needing to kill things with a gun. So once they're all taken care of, we're going to leave the room. And that was pretty damn cheap, putting those dividers over those little parasites. Really cheap. So we're going to head on back here now, save our progress. I have the schematic for the level 4 suit, but I won't be upgrading it. This run, it would have been pretty easy to no damage this run, because I hardly ever get hit, and I have like 20 med packs that I haven't even used, so I'll probably end up selling them. But it would have been challenging to either try a no damage run or a no stasis run. It would have been pretty interesting. So they're gonna put one guy in here as a little farewell fuck you present to the gamer. So there's your goddamn present right there. So lap it up and enjoy it. But don't enjoy it too much, because we're going to be going into the next phase of this quest here in the Dead Space universe. And I will see you in that video. Take care.